Hello, everyone, and today we are going to talk about locations. So, today's topic, as you probably already know, it's about locations, and we are going to talk about converting longitude and latitude into an actual address, and also vice versa. So, also converting longitude and latitude into an address. No, I already said that. Into address into longitude and latitude. Yeah, sorry about that. And yeah, let's actually jump right through and let me show you how this works. Okay, so before I show you how you can set it up, let me actually show you a working demo of the, so to say, the product. So here you can think of it of two parts. This is the first part on the top part where when you see I have set up like three locations with a latitude and longitude. And if I click convert to address, it should actually show the address. As you can see here, this is my home actually, and this is the street. It's called Saint Sveti Kirill Metodi, or so we call it in Bulgarian, Sveti Kirill Metodi. And the city it's Pleven, and the country it's Bulgaria. And I think because I'm living in Sweden, that's why it's actually written in Swedish, which is Bulgarian. Bulgarian. It's in Swedish. Yeah. So let's move on. So the second address, if you can guess the city, this is like a game. Can you guess this city? It's a very popular one. It's in the UK, and yes, it is London. So we have London, and then we have Stonebridge, and then you have the postcode here as well. So the actual address, and then this one is a very famous city as well. As you can guess it, can you guess it? And yes, indeed, it is New York City, and so it's Broadway, New York City country, and the city is New York. And you can probably see that using longitude and latitude, you can actually convert it into an address. And the second part is actually converting an address into a longitude and latitude. And I have this address right now, which is in my hometown. And let me just change the address right now. So let's say 15, for example. And now you can actually see that the longitude and latitude is actually changed. What if I change the country? What if I say, I'm not very good, but let's say London and then say UK, for example. And this should be converted. Yeah, it is actually converted to longitude and latitude. What about Barcelona, Spain? So, and now it's converted to latitude and latitude. And of course, you can write an address here. I don't know addresses in Barcelona, like street names in the names of Barcelona, but yeah, you can think of and you can test it as well. So let's actually move on and show you how you can set it up. Okay, so let's first talk about converting longitude and latitude into an address, into an actual address. And here in my demo, I have set up those longitudes and latitudes, and I am actually converting them into an address using an API actually. And this API is coming from Google, and this is the API that I'm using. And you need an API key for that. So in order to get the API key, let's first talk about the API key. If I switch to my Google Cloud, so if I switch to my Google Cloud over here, the one that you need is called Geocoding API. So just on the search bar over, just make sure that you click on your project that you want. For mine right now, it's beta project, and just write in the search geocoding, I don't know, geocoding probably, and then API, and then click on it. And then when you click on it, right now mine it's enabled. So that's why you actually see manage, but probably yours is not enabled. So you need to enable it. Just click enable, and then you go through the steps. They will ask you a couple of questions. Just go through the steps over here, and then you get the API key that you need, that you have to use. So when you're done with that, just come back to this video so I can just show you how you can get the address. So when you have your address set it up, your API key, the address is this one, which is HTTPS maps.googleapis.com maps API geocoding or geocoding JSON, and then question mark, and then latitude longitude equals to, and then you have latitude comma longitude, and then n key equals to API key. And it's very important that those are actually variables and they're coming from your variables over here. So just click on variables and then add the latitude, the longitude, and those will be double, and then add the API key. So right now I made my API empty, but you can actually paste your API key over here and just use it the default value, because you're probably not going to change this API key in the future. So you can just use the default one and then leave those empty because those will be dynamic. And then in the query parameters, leave it empty. In the headers, also leave it empty. And then when I go over here, you can actually test it, right? You can write doubles for latitude and longitude over here, and then you can just click on convert. But now it's saying you must use an API key. So let me just put my API key. So when I put my API key, you can actually see that this is the response. Based on the latitude and longitude, this is actually the response. And I have like the address, and I have like a long address, like I have the street number, the street address, the number of the street. I have the city, I have the policy, the locally, sorry, the administrative area level 1. I have the country, I have the postal code, I have longitude and latitude, and I have like if it's a rooftop or like a lot of information. You can actually see this is like a pretty big information that you get out of this address. It's like 1,000 lines of code, of information that you get from a single latitude and latitude. That's crazy. Great. And then if we go to recommendations, the ones that I'm using is actually a custom ones. And the ones that I'm currently using is this one. So it's result, and then I'm getting only the first result, and I'm getting the address components, and then in my example, I'm getting the first one from the long name, this fourth one from long name, and the fifth one from long name. So this, in my case particular, this will give me the address name, the city, and the country. But you probably saw that for London and New York, it's actually giving me the postal code and the name of the country, but like in the country, not in the real sense of the country, but in a country like an area country. But you can tweak, of course, this one, and you can get whatever information that you want to get. And then how to use it, simply go to your, in my case over here, I set up a button. So I'm just passing this information, the longitude and the longitude, I'm passing it like that. Of course, if you want to actually pass this information using the data type longitude and latitude, for example, if I have the authenticated user, sorry, it's not authenticated user, it's global properties, and I have this current device location. So probably you can see that right now I cannot use it, but I can show you how you can use it actually. And let me just do that now. And this is actually how you can do it. Convert longitude and longitude to double. and you just apply the location, which is in the form of longitude and latitude, and then we're actually outputting a list of doubles, which is the longitude is the first one, and then the latitude, it's the sorry, the latitude is the first one, and then the longitude is the second one. So I'm actually getting an error from here as I unset this longitude and latitude, but let me show you how you can actually do it from a longitude and latitude value. So to use that, you need a custom function, convert from longitude to latitude, and then this one will be from global properties, the location of the device, for example, and I will need the first index. So I'll need index at, and I'll just have the first one, and I'll actually can copy this. So I actually can copy this. Okay, let's paste it over. I don't know why when you copy it, it's not actually getting. Um, it's just closing it for some reason, and then we need the last one from here. So we need the first one, and then we need the last one. Great. So this is how you do it. If you ever need to get it from longitude to latitude, this is how you do it. You just query the API, and then the response. What I'm doing with the response, and I have like a page. Let me just show you. I just have a page state which is in the scaffold. So I have the street, the city, and the country, which are strings. And then if I with the response, I'm actually putting my my variable. So I set all the values, set value to the street, to the city, and to the country, and then I'm actually getting the address from JSON body, JSON path, a long address, and then this is city, and then this is country. And finally, I'm just displaying it, right? So when I click this will actually change the page state, and this will actually show the new address, the street, the city, and the country. So that's it. I hope this was helpful. And if you are actually here for converting converting an actual address to longitude and latitude, now we'll talk about this. Okay, so let's talk about the second part, which is converting address into longitude and latitude. So what I have set up is a text field over here, which I have two actions. So the first action will be on change. Of course, you can make it on submit, and then when someone submit like with a button or something like that. But in my particular case, I did it with on change. So I did it when on change, and I have this API setup. So if you haven't watched the beginning of the video where you can get the API key, please go to the beginning of the video so you can get the API key of Google. I have explained how to get it. But this is basically the API that you need. It's almost the same as the last one. The URL is actually maps that googleapis.com maps API geocode JSON question mark, and then the difference is that this time we're going to use address, and it's very important to know that the address needs to be encoded, but I will show you how you can easily encode that. And then we put and then key equals to, and then the API key, and then just remember you need those brackets, so that will be your variables. You need two variables. One is the actual the encoded address, and the other is the API key. And I'll actually put the API key over here. I have deleted mine, so you don't see it, but you have to put the API key over here because it's the default value, and you're probably not going to change it. And then you have the encoded address as a string. And then let me show you how this looks like when you test it. So when you test it, I have tested with some random address. I think in Los Angeles, Mountain View. Actually, it's California, and then this is the result that I'm getting. It's actually, I think, the Google building, uh, and then you can actually see it's not that big of the result like before, It's like only 100 rows and not 1000 like the last one. But you can actually get a lot of information out of it because you want to get the longitude and latitude from this address, but it's actually giving you, I didn't know that, but it's actually giving you like the boundaries, the geometrical boundaries from the northeast part, the southeast part, the northeast, the southwest, like you can have like basically a square and to put like to, for example, in this building, where is it located in the map, which is great actually, which is neat. I didn't know that, but you can totally do that. And then this is the results. And what I end up using is this one. It's on the dollar sign that results, and then dot geometry dot location dot latitude, and then it's the same thing dot LNG, which is the longitude. And then this is actually the response that we're going to use. Those are doubles. If you just hover over it, I think there should be, yeah, exactly. So it says type double. And then how to actually use it. So in order to use it, we actually need a custom function for that. And the custom function that we need is to actually convert the longitude and latitude. No, it's actually, we need to convert the double into a longitude and latitude. Uh, and in order to display it. And also we need to actually encode the URL or to encode the address. But I have this code which will encode your address, and all the code actually will be available in my GitHub repo. So just go there and grab it. And this is the code for encoding, like I said, and this is the code for convert double to longitude and latitude. Great. So let's click over here and let me show you. So this is the API code. So the address, it's actually coming from the widget state, but we need to convert it. So that's why I'm using the custom function encode URL, and then I'm providing us the URL. In this case, it's not the URL, but it's an address. But I'm providing the address which is coming from the widget state enter address. And then encoding, make sure it's true, because we have two ways to encode it or decode it. In this case, we're going to encode it, so that's why it's true. And then the final thing is actually to display this. And how we are displaying it, we are again in the scaffold having a location, longitude and latitude, and we are just displaying this location. So if I click here, I have this location from the page state, and you need to put a default value or else it will not work. So just put 00, comma 0 dot 0. Great. And then we need to convert that. We need to convert the result because we're getting a result as two separate doubles actually. So we need to convert those doubles into a longitude and latitude. So what we're doing is we're using this custom function that I show you, convert double to longitude and latitude, and we're passing this actually as our longitude and latitude. So it's coming from the response of this API call, the JSON body, the longitude, this is the latitude, and this is the longitude. Great. And then the final thing is actually set the value to the location, to the longitude, latitude. And then the final thing is actually displaying it. So whatever you enter in this text field, like an address, it will be automatically converted into a longitude, latitude, and voila, that's it. So I really hope you like this video. And before you go, actually, and before you go, I just want to let you know that I set up a Discord channel, which will be for my 3,000 subscribers. So thank you very much for everyone who subscribed to the channel. The Discord channel will be officially announced when I reach the 3,000 subscribers. Um, it is well structured. It will be well structured with the general tab, which you can see the info, the news, and we will have also click to talk, so you can actually talk to other members of the channel. And we have the YouTube videos as well, where you can see all the YouTube videos. You can also have, if you want to, if you want to request a video, you can go to video requests, and then we have the paid members from YouTube, which they have a separate channel where they can talk. I also have from the mentoring sessions, we have the paid members. And then it's structured by backend, Flow API calls Superbase SQLite. And then you have the design, where you can ask design questions. We have the custom code, which is code expressions, custom functions, custom widgets, custom actions, and for the Flow source code, we can talk about the Flow source code as well. And we have integrations as well, pub, dev, packages, platforms, if you want to integrate different platforms. We have the general integrations, and then we have, you don't see it from my face, but we have also the settings. We have the dynamic links, we have the push notifications, we have the app settings, we have the Android deployment, we have the iOS deployment, and we have the web deployment. And the last thing that we have is actually we have the languages, and we have other languages. So we have like Swedish, for example, Spanish, Portuguese, other languages that people from those countries or those languages can talk in their own language. So yeah, like I said, thank you very much for all the subscribers. And before you go, I just want to say that the paid membership for YouTube is now open. So you can be a paid member to my YouTube channel, which means a lot. And thank you very much for all the people who are right now paid members to the channel.